In this video, we're going to be going over the exact strategies we use for our 7 and 8-figure accounts to improve deliverability and to make sure that we're landing in the primary inbox. We're going to be covering everything so that you don't have to watch in parts or go and find other videos. This video will cover literally everything. It's the only video that you need to watch to improve your deliverability as an e-com brand or if you're just trying to improve your emails. Let's jump straight into it. Let's start with the basics. What is deliverability? Essentially, deliverability refers to where your emails land once they are sent. Think of it like a credit score for your email sending domain and your IP address. So if you have a high credit score, you're gonna land in the primary inbox. If you have a medium score, you're gonna land in the promotions tab. And if you go below that, you're obviously gonna land in the spam folder. Now, why is deliverability so important? Deliverability is the foundation of email marketing. You can have the best strategy, the perfect copy, beautiful designs, great offers, but if your emails don't actually reach the customer's inbox, none of that matters. Deliverability is the foundation of email marketing. If emails land in spam or promotions too often, it's gonna cause your open rates to collapse. It's gonna drop your clicks, your revenue, obviously, which is what matters most, is gonna drop as well. Without strong deliverability, even the best strategy fails. Okay, so I wanted to go over a little bit how it actually functions in the backend. You have to think that these email providers like Yahoo, Gmail, they're businesses, and their goal is to make money off people staying in their platform. Their goal is to show users the emails they want to see, to retain them longer, and be able to make more money from them. It's very, very simple. So a couple of engagement signals that they use is things like open rates, clicks, replies, spam complaints. If your email is good, you're gonna get more inbox reach, good engagement if you have good reputation. But if you have bad engagement and bad reputation, you're gonna have less reach because they're just gonna send your emails to the spam folder. It works just like social media algorithms. Instagram and TikTok, they won't push content that is bad, right? It's the same thing as emails. If your content is bad, they're not gonna push it out. If it's spammy, they're not gonna push it out. They're gonna send you straight into the spam folder. They have no mercy with this. So what actually controls deliverability? Deliverability is primarily determined by two things. The first one being the technical setup, which then has two sub-themes, which is the domain authentication and your email infrastructure. So a lot of times, I'm gonna get into this in a second, you wanna be sending from your custom domain. If you're sending from a shared IP address, which a lot of times, if you don't have your custom domain set up, Klaviyo and Omnisend assign an IP address to you from a pool of IP addresses. And what that means is you're gonna be sharing IP addresses with other people, meaning that if they send bad emails with bad engagement and whatever spammy content they're sending, that's gonna affect your deliverability as well, even though you didn't send that because you don't have your custom domain, because you don't own that IP address. And so a lot of times what you can do is you can set up your domain inside of Klaviyo or Omnisend. A lot of times they just do it automatically for you by going into settings, domains, and then you add your domain. It's a pretty straightforward process, but it's essential that you get that taken care of. What that's gonna do is gonna set up your DNS records to authorize Klaviyo or Omnisend to send emails on your behalf. And that's gonna give you as well your custom sending domain. Most platforms like Klaviyo and Omnisend can automatically configure these, as I mentioned, but it's still very important that you have these correctly installed. If a custom domain is not configured, you may be sending through shared infrastructure, like I spoke about before, a pool of IP addresses, and that means that other senders' behavior can impact your deliverability. If they send spam or poor quality emails, your reputation can suffer as well. A dedicated domain gives you full control over your reputation, over your IP address. As it says here, I'd recommend you use something along the lines of hello@yourbrand.com rather than just hello@gmail.com, because you're just gonna end up getting your IP address from a pool of IP addresses. Now, the second part of what actually controls deliverability is your sender reputation, which a lot of times is going to be the primary driver to your entire, let's say, credit score, IP credit score. Inbox providers analyze how users interact with your emails. The main signals include open rates, click rates, bounce rates, and spam complaints, like we spoke about before. And like I mentioned before, if you have good engagement, you're going to get better reach. If you have bad engagement, you're going to get worse reach. So, as you can see here, this is the primary folder, the social/promotions, updates, and then you have another tab, which is spam, which you want to avoid at all costs. Now, how do we actually get the strategy rolling? So, number one, send emails consistently. Consistency is critical for building sender reputation. Inbox providers trust senders who send regularly and predictably. You don't want to be sending once a month. You want to be sending like once to twice every couple of days, right? You don't necessarily need to be over sending once, twice a day, but I'd recommend at least sending once every other day, if not that, once every 3 days, every 2 days. Send campaigns 2 to 4 times a week, as I mentioned. The benefits of consistent sending means you build domain trust, it maintains engagement, and strengthens your inbox placement. A lot of times, if you're sending good content and if you're sending them on a consistent basis, you don't have to worry too much about, oh, is my copywriting perfect? Don't worry about that. If you're sending consistently and it's actually good content, there's a good chance that your customers are going to engage with your content, which is going to give you a better inbox placement. If emails are sent too rarely, inbox providers lose confidence in the sender. No, your customers will not feel spammed if you send good content. A lot of times I speak to founders and they're like, oh, but I don't want to spam the list. If you're sending content like this, dopamine heavy content, actually good content, and it's just not promotions all the time, the customers are not going to get spammed. They're not going to get tired of your emails because it's going to be just like they're consuming content on another social media platform. So as you can see, these are a couple of emails that we've done in the past, like us versus them, unboxing what is inside here, and then even this, like, claim your mystery gift. Stuff like this keeps the customers engaged. It's fun, it's easy for the customer to read, to skim through, and it's gonna show the ESPs that you're a reliable sender and they're gonna place you in a better position in the inbox. Number 2, you want to send to engaged segments only. The amount of times I've spoken to founders that are sending to their entire list is just absolutely insane. You never want to do that. That's going to completely destroy your deliverability. You want to focus on engaged subscribers only. Sending campaigns to your entire list can hurt deliverability, if not destroy it. Many subscribers, it's very, very natural for them to stop checking their inbox, to lose interest in the brand, to use inactive email addresses. Sending emails to these inactive users lowers engagement rates. Instead, focus on engaged subscribers. Because like we spoke about before, if you're sending to these people that aren't engaging with your content, email service providers, they don't know that they're inactive, right? They're just gonna see your content. They're gonna see someone that's not opening your content and not clicking on your content. And it's gonna tell them, okay, this is bad content, let's not push this out, and it's gonna land you in the spam folder. So don't do that, send to engaged segments only. Now we're gonna get into which segment you should actually be using to send these campaigns. A lot of times this segment is going to be your base segment where you're going to be sending majority of your campaigns to keep that consistent send and to make sure that your deliverability is improving. However, there are outliers. If you have sales, maybe you want to increase the segment a little bit or some other situations, but this is the main one that you want to be using. Send to active and interested subscribers. This will improve engagement and deliverability. So here's the segment: open the email at least once in the last 30 days, or click the email at least once in the last 30 days, or view product at least once in the last 30 days. And this is very important that you focus and you pay attention to these dividers, and has placed orders 0 times in the last 30 days. This ensures campaigns are sent to active and interested subscribers, improving engagement and deliverability. Here's what it looks like set up inside of Klaviyo. If you want to pause it here, take a screenshot, do what you need to do. So how do you actually monitor your deliverability? I know Klaviyo has their deliverability score, but I wouldn't focus too much on that. Instead, I'd actually use open rates as a health signal because this is a good indicator of where your brand stands in the inbox placement. Open rates can help determine how large your audience should be in terms of the segments. So for example, if you're sending campaigns to this segment that I mentioned before, and you see consistently that your open rates are dropping below 40%, you want to decrease the segment. What does that mean? It means decreasing from 30 days to 14 days. Maybe even if 14 days is below 40%, then maybe you want to go to 7 days. And you want to decrease, so on, keep decreasing it until your open rates exceed 60% for, let's say, 3 consistent campaigns. Once that happens, then you want to expand to larger segments. So for example, if you were sending 3 campaigns to 14-day engaged, and you see that your open rates exceed 60% on those 3 campaigns, then you want to expand your segment and then send it to 30. And if you see that in 30, it's going above 60% as well consistently, then you can go to 60, 90, 120, and so on. Now we're going to be going over some design tips for deliverability. These are some strategies that we even use for our 7 and 8-figure accounts. Some design practices will help you improve deliverability, maybe drastically, maybe not. It depends on how your account health is. But number 1 is the invisible footer trick. Essentially, you want to add a hidden text block at the very, very bottom of the email. Around 200 to 300 words about the brand. Don't use any spam words that are related to money, like dollars or the dollar sign, euro sign, nothing like that. Make it the same color as the background and a very, very small font. This prevents the email from appearing like an image-only email, which spam filters often dislike if it's just image-based email. By adding this text, you add HTML, and the image to HTML ratio stays a little bit better. Design tip number 2, compress your images. Large images will slow your email loading and will hurt user experience, which will in turn lead to them not staying on your email, which will in turn lead to bad indicators to the ESPs. The best practice, slice the email design into sections, whether you use Canva, Figma, whatever it may be. Compress the image. You can use websites like iloveimg.com. Upload the compressed versions. A lot of times you don't really lose the quality of it, and it just improves the user experience on your email. The benefits, faster loading times, better user experience, and improved deliverability signals. Now, another strategy that we use to improve deliverability, but it's not necessarily related to design, is just sending more plain text emails. Plain text emails can significantly help with deliverability. Why do they actually work well? Lightweight HTML structure, less promotional appearance, and resembles normal human communication. Essentially what that means is by sending plain text emails, it's like a letter to a friend, you're not triggering any spam filters because you're not necessarily using that many images. Yes, you have to be careful with the wording that you use as well, like don't use $signs as I spoke about before, but it's really, really good, has a lot of HTML. The HTML to image ratio obviously is very, very good, which ESPs like. Plain text emails often land in the inbox more consistently. Just be careful if you have a visual brand. For example, if you run a fashion brand, then it's hard to spam a lot of these plain text emails because a lot of times the customers need to see what your product looks like on them or on someone else, right? Key takeaways. Deliverability is a foundation of email marketing. If you don't have deliverability, you do not have an email strategy because nothing else will matter because no one will receive your emails. If your emails don't reach the inbox, your strategy does not matter. The formula is very, very simple. Good technical setup, consistent sending, strong engagement will equal to strong deliverability. I hope this video was helpful. These are the strategies that we use for our 7- and 8-figure accounts. And if you don't want to take care of any of this, if you're just like, Luca, this is too much of a headache, I just need someone to take care of it for me, I'll leave a link in the description where you can book in a call, and I'll see you guys in the next one.